Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Phil from Radio.co. And welcome to our Radio.co live demonstration and live Q&A or AMA, whichever way you want to go about it. During the course of the next maybe 45, 60 minutes or so, I'm going to take you on a guided tour of Radio.co so you can see exactly how it works. Very, very easy way of getting started. And then also covering a couple of questions, a few that have been sent in beforehand and ones that have been sent in live. So if you have a question you would like to ask me, then wherever you're watching it, whether it's YouTube, Facebook Live, please send a comment or message of what your questions are. I may end up covering it during the course of the demo, but that's fine. Ask it anyway, and Jack in the background, he's going to suffer through all the questions and then send them to me at the end. So I'll cover through things after the whole demonstration and the pre-asked questions. Okay, tell you what, it's a good job we're not streaming in 4K. Blimey, the UK is in the middle of a heat wave, and us Brits we're not supposed to be in the heat, so. It's going to be a bit of a glossy one. Luckily, my face isn't going to be on display for much longer. So very, very soon you should be able to see our Radio.co demo screen. Now, in terms of what Radio.co is all about, if our software is completely brand new to you and you have no idea what we're all about, we're kind of like the ultimate all-in-one package for all the software that you would need to immediately begin broadcasting easily and professionally, globally, 24/7. So we'll give you all the things such as scheduling tools, automation, the ability to go live, things like the ability to build mobile apps for your station, everything, and all that and more. I'm going to show you, like I said, over the next sort of 30-ish minutes, and then we'll cover over some questions for the remainder of the time. So I'm going to jump on my screen now. There we go. Thanks, Jack. So what you'll be able to see here is this is your Radio.co dashboard. Now, to get here, what you need to do is go to our website, find our pricing page, and there you'll see a selection of plans. So we have 5 subscription plans in total. Each of them give you all the essential tools needed for broadcasting. Where they differ is just in terms of things like, as you can see on my screen, storage space for your content, bandwidth or listening hours, and listeners. They also do differ in certain exclusive features, and I'll be going through a few of those during the course of the demonstration. We offer a free 7-day trial. Give it a couple of minutes. As soon as you create that account, like I said, 3 minutes later or so, this is what you'll see, your Radio.co dashboard. It looks a little busy, but don't worry. I'm going to take you a tour through so you can see exactly what's going on here. So what you'll see here is, first of all, the most important thing on this page is the on-air button. So by default, this is switched off. All you do is press it, it turns on. And as long as you can see this where it says on air and it's red, you know your station is broadcasting 24/7 all over the world. If it's not saying on air, it's clearly off. So turn it back on. The software itself is all cloud-based, so that's why it takes so little time to actually get started. You don't need to download or install anything. And as well, with it all being cloud-based, it's actually us, Radio.co, that power your station for you. So, unlike a terrestrial station where you need that one computer on 24/7, that's not necessary. We'll power your station for you. So as long as it says on air, rest assured, your station is broadcasting. It could be broadcasting live content or automated content, and I'll show you how to set both of those up during the course of this this demonstration. This information at the top here, this is for live broadcasting. So as well as creating pre-recorded and automated shows, you can go live as much as you like. You can go live 24/7 if you want. But this here where it says connection status, what that means is, are you a host currently connected to the software to do a live broadcast? Now, I'm not doing a show at the moment, which is why it says not connected. But if I did want to do a live show, I need to change that so it says connected or live or on air, something like that. And in order to do that, I need to come here. So what you'll see is a little button here. It says download broadcaster. Now, what a broadcaster is, or an encoder is another name for it, that's a simple additional piece of software that you do need to download and then open it up each time you want to go live. And it communicates with Radio.co. It tells it where your live audio is coming from. And that could be a microphone you have plugged in, a mixing desk, a music source, whatever it is, select it. And that can then be heard live on air when you are connected and live. This particular broadcaster is exclusive to Windows devices. So if that's the sort of computer you're using, excellent. If you are a Mac user, we actually have an alternative you can use. It is a third party. It's called BUTT, or Broadcast Using This Tool is its full title. And very recently, we're actually sponsoring it. So we actually, you'll be able to see Radio.co. It's much easier to connect your Radio.co account to But, and there's more features in that to come soon. And to connect to But at the moment, you will need to use your host, port, and password. This is unique information for your user on Radio.co. So that's broadcasting live, and I'll show you how to actually schedule a live show very, very shortly. And for more information on how to actually connect live to see how it looks, you can go to our help center. That's help.radio.co, and you will find our help center there with all of our tutorials. As I said, this information is relevant depending on which plan you subscribe to. And this information here is just showing me now what tracks are currently playing or have previously played and what's coming up next. So if I go to the media tab, this is probably where I'll go first, as this is where you upload your content. And you can upload anything you like just by clicking on the Add Media button here. Click on Select Files and just select anything that's on your computer or your local hard drive. And like I said, you can upload anything, music, podcasts, interviews. You can upload jingles, ads, anything you like, as long as it's an MP3 file or an AAC file. As long as it's one of those, you can upload it. You can also come to the FTP information here, which will, this is just an alternative way of uploading. I like to think of it as a really aggressive way of uploading, because you can upload hundreds or thousands of tracks overnight. If you've got a good internet connection anyway, that's a good alternative. And you can actually link your Radio.co account to a Google Drive and a Dropbox as well. But regardless how you upload, this is where your tracks will appear when you have uploaded them. And you'll see that a lot of them have these brightly colored labels attached to them. What they are is they're called tags. And what they do is they, first and foremost, help you organize your media. As you can see here, I've decided to split my tracks up into different genres. So I've got R&B tracks, 90s rock tracks, 2010s pop. And with this, you can type in anything you want. These are ones we create for you, whatever type of track or genre of track you want to play, create a label for it. So I'm going to select these 3 tracks here and say, for example, these were 2000s hip hop tracks, something like that. All you do is just click on here where it says 2000s hip hop. A couple more I've used: interview, podcast, advert. You can, type in absolutely anything you want, like some gibberish there. Click on add. It then creates that label and attaches it to those tracks. And what it does is it then places them into a sort of folder. So if I go to the tags option on the left, what you'll see is a list of all the tags you've made, and next to it, the number of tracks associated with that tag. Like here, 2000s hip hop, there are 3 tracks. What tracks are they? Click on it, and you'll see them there. So first and foremost, it's a great way of organizing, whether it's music or talk content you're playing. Use the tag just to help you identify and differentiate what you have. But you can actually use these tags to help build your playlist as well. So I'll show you how that works very, very shortly. Before that, though, I'll come to recordings. Now, when you're doing a live broadcast, you can actually schedule your live shows to record. So as soon as you come off air, you will have an MP3 file of your entire show. Like here, I've got a 2-hour-long file from a show and even a just shy of 11-minute live show I did there. Now, once you have saved your show, you can come to the Actions button. You could just download it onto your computer if you wanted to archive it yourself. You could upload it onto your website if you've got a way of embedding it onto your website. We have a sister company, Radio.co. So if it's a talk show you've done and you want to repurpose it and turn it into a podcast when it's finished, subscribe to Radio.co, link the 2 accounts together, and literally within minutes, you will have an on-demand version of the show you've just done. Likewise, if it's a music show, you can publish directly to Mixcloud. Ways of just making your content available on demand for people who missed it live. So it's a great way of generating a much different kind of audience. We have voice tracking. This allows you to record short form content for up to a maximum of 10 minutes at a time. This is perfect for creating pre-recorded shows. So instead of recording voice links elsewhere, exporting them, uploading them, scheduling them, cut all that, unnecessary time out. What you can do is just record up to 10 minutes of vocals directly into your Radio.co account and then allocate them, slot them throughout your playlist to give your music show, a bit of personality behind it. So I'll show you how this works when I begin building my playlist very shortly. We have relays. What this allows you to do is schedule another online feed from somewhere else. So maybe you have a friend who's doing, or a business partner's doing an online radio station. Maybe you want to broadcast one of their shows on your station. Or maybe you have a network of stations, 5 stations in total, program a show on one of them, and then just relay it across the others. So it's a way of just syndicating content really, really easily. We have a talk show feature. This will allow you to, a lot more easily schedule remote interviews and shows with people. You can do talk shows on all of our plans. This is just a tool that makes it a bit more efficient, a bit more helpful. And this is available in our Gold and our Pro plans. What you do is you create an online recording booth. I've got one here called Phil Demo. It comes with its own invitation link, which I will send to my guests or my co-hosts. I'll click on Start Session. I'll wait for them to enter. I'll bring them in the room, make sure I'm recording on the right input, click on record, and I can record up to 60 minutes. So it's not a live feature, but it's a great way of getting co-hosts, guests, interviews all together to record up to 60 minutes. So it's a really, really helpful tool to have. And then finally, in terms of features, we have our news bulletin builder. What this allows you to do is automate top of our news bulletins across your station. And I, for one, really feel like, providing a news service can really elevate a station, give it that more professional edge if you are catering entertainment and news across your local community, particularly for, a local community station. So how this works is you build a package. So a bit of intro, a bit of outro, it doesn't have to be music. It could be a top of our jingle, a sponsorship tag, an advert maybe, and then choose a news source that you are legally allowed to use. You can use any source you want, provided you have permission, and it must end in an MP3. It must be an MP3 URL. The reason being is this URL will always be updated by your news provider. So you just need to schedule it in once and it will automatically update as frequently as they update it. When you built this package, tell the software how frequently you want it to play. So it could be all day, or it could be every day between specific hours on specific days, like so. Very, very easy to do. Just tell the software when you want the news to play and it'll do it. Okay, so that's enough for features. Some of those, I guess, are considered more advanced features, but this is the basics to broadcasting. You've uploaded content and now you want to get some shows on air. First thing you want to do is build a playlist. So I'm going to come to playlist here. Now, anything that isn't live, so anything that's pre-recorded and automated, will be a playlist. And once you've built that playlist, you then schedule it for broadcasting. So you can see a number of different shows I have here, such as breakfast show. I have an R&B show here. But there is actually a playlist we do give you when you create your account, and it's this one. It's the default playlist. Now, the reason we give you this is because we've actually built it to do a number of important jobs. The main job it does is it will actually automatically fade in during any gap in your schedule. So what does that mean? Well, it means you don't need to schedule content for every hour across every single day. You don't have to have anything in your schedule, 24/7. You could leave your schedule completely blank all day, every day. And as long as you have content in your default playlist, as soon as you turn your station on air, the software will begin looping content that's in your default playlist, and it will play it for as long as it needs to. If you've got 1 hour of music in there, it will play it obviously 24 times a day. If you've got 24 hours of content in there, it will play it 7 times on loop across the week. It's you put as much or as little content in there, and it will really help you manage your station incredibly easily. Alternatively, of course, you can build shows. So that's what I'm going to do first of all. I'm going to build a show. So I'm going to call a brand new one. I'll schedule it tomorrow. So I'll call it Phil's Friday Night Jams. There we go. Don't know what I'm going to play. I'll choose that in a second. Give it a color. Nice vibrant purple there. Click on the add button. And when you click on the add button, it takes you to your playlist builder or your show builder. So I can see mine here, Phil's Friday Night Jams. And currently it's got no duration because we don't have any tracks in this playlist. So to rectify that, just choose any track you've uploaded and click on the plus button. And you can see as soon as I do, it's jumping straight into my playlist. So I'm going to work my way down this list, just add in any tracks that I like so. And every track I add, it's adding up the duration so I know exactly how long this show is. I can type in specific tracks as well and add them in. Once they're added onto this side, I can move them around to get everything in a different order like so. So you don't actually have to add tracks into any specific order, just move them around as you see fit once they're all in there. Now, I could save this and schedule it, and I'll be reasonably happy with my show. But there are other content and different ways I can program. First of all, I'll go to the tags tab here. Now, this shows you the same list I showed you just before. You can see a list of all the tags I've made. However, this time I can actually take these tags and place them in my playlist. So I'll take this 90s tag, move it in, maybe move another one over there. Now, what this does is when the software gets to this tag in the running order, it's actually going to play a track completely at random that has that particular tag attached to it. So if I have 100 tags tagged as 90s, it's going to play a random one of those 100. And the software's clever. It will play every track within that tag once before any repeat. So if I put the same tag in 100 times in a row, as long as I've got at least 100 tracks in there, each time it's guaranteed to be completely different. And in fact, you can actually build a playlist entirely made of tags. So if you wanted to do, Phil's 90s show, and I'm not really bothered about what tracks do play, I can just build a playlist simple like that, schedule it for an hour, and for 1 hour, it will just keep playing a back-to-back random 90s track. So that is a way of building a show very, very quickly. Just build one at random. We also have a request widget that will allow people to select tracks from your website, and then they'll go into a request manager. And in order to get them to play, take the play request command and again, add that into your playlist. And what it would do is if there are any requests made, it will play one here. If there isn't, it will simply move on to the next item. Recordings. If you have saved some live broadcasts, if you want to repeat them, simply take that file, move it across. Simple as that. There we go. I'm now playing one of my old shows from a couple of weeks ago. Talk shows. If I've recorded any of those 60-minute talk shows, I can take them and again, just drag them across. Nice and easy. And then voice tracks. As I said, this will let you record vocal content up to 10 minutes in length. So, you can record this if you've got back-to-back music playing. Why not record a bit of vocals in between each track, to give it an element of personality. And to record one, there's a handy little microphone button at the top. So click on that. Click on this red microphone button, and it will just ask you to confirm what input you're using. In my case, a microphone that's connected to an audio interface. Just select the right option for you. As long as it's connected to your computer, you'll be able to use it. Click on this record button again, and it will then start counting backwards from 10 minutes and actually recording your content. So it's reading everything that I'm saying into this microphone. And yeah, I could use this time to introduce tracks that are coming up next. I could interview someone quickly, maybe. I could record my jingles or my adverts. It's basically a portable recording booth that you'll always have access to anytime you log into your account. So it's a really formidable tool to use, as much as you possibly want. And this feature in particular, and the live recordings feature, is available in at least our bronze plan. Okay, so if I click on stop, it will allow me to review it and make sure everything sounds okay when the button turns green with a nice handy little play button, like so. If I don't like what I hear, I can clear recording and start again. If I do like it though, I just need to give it a name. So I'll call this one Phil Intro Jams. Click on create. And it will then create it, and it will save it and place it by default at the bottom of your playlist. Of course, if you don't want it there, move it around. And there we go. And just record as many of these as you like, scatter them throughout. And, it turns what would have just been a back-to-back playlist of music into an actual radio show. And it's a great way of getting DJs involved who are maybe not too sure about going live yet, or maybe, you don't think they're ready to go live, or you yourself are not ready to go live yet. Record some voice tracks, get used to how it's going to sound and how you are going to sound on air. Now, I'm happy with this playlist, so I'm going to click on save. And the final thing to do, so we've uploaded content, we built a playlist, we now need to get it on air. And to do that, click on schedule. This is the third step. And what you'll see when you click on schedule is your schedule. You'll see days of the week along the top, times down by the side, like here. And as I scroll down, you'll see everything that I have on my particular show. So I have a live show 9 till 12, and I have a live show 6 till 9. And in between all this, there's a large gap. Between 12 and 6, there's nothing there. And if you remember, we have that default playlist which will automatically fade in and start playing when there's nothing scheduled, just like here. Every day between 12 and 6, my default playlist is just playing automatically on loop. I don't need to set anything up to do it because we've built that playlist to do it. So as soon as Alan finishes his show at 12, the software knows nothing's coming up next, and it will fade in that default playlist completely automatically. And it will always fill in that time. So even if my default playlist was an hour, in this case, it's going to play it 6 times on loop. It'll always fill in any amount of time it needs to. Now, to schedule a show, very, very simple. All you do is select a time and drag it down to the time you want it to finish. So I'm going to do a Friday show. Here's Friday. I'm going to click on 2. I'm going to drag it down to the time I want it to finish, like 4. Now, when I let go of the mouse, I just need to confirm some details. So you can see here, it starts at 2 p.m., it runs for 2 hours, and it therefore finishes at 4. Now, currently, I've only got this show scheduled for Friday, but if I did want to, I can schedule it across multiple days of the week. I just need to select them. So if I click on Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, or every day maybe, and it will schedule it 2 till 4 across all of these days. Now, it doesn't stop there. You can also schedule this to repeat for a certain amount of weeks. So if I click on week, I can put in any random date I like. So here I'm actually going for the 22nd of February, 2022. So there's a lot of twos there. It's going to schedule 6 months worth of content here. And you can select any date within the next 2 years and it will schedule it. And it will only take a matter of seconds to do that. Now, before I create it, I need to open up the Advanced tab. And I need to confirm what type of show this is going to be. So, event type. If I select playlist, all that means is that I'm selecting a playlist that I want to play. What playlist is it? Well, I select it from here where it says playlist. Select it from here. Phil's Friday Night Jams. Let's just ignore the fact this show is in an afternoon. I mean, it's Friday night somewhere, isn't it? So I'm going to click on playlist. And if I click on create event, give it a couple of seconds. There we go. And it's scheduled 2 till 4, playlist, Phil's Friday Night Jams. That will automatically fade in at 2 and it'll automatically fade out at 4. And you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to press anything. You don't even need your computer on. You've told the software what you want it to play and what time, and it will do it for you completely automated. It will fade in and fade out at the right times. And that's how easy it is to do a pre-recorded automated show. Just click on Add Media, add your content, build your playlist, and then tell the software what time you want it to play. And you can build your show to have as many different pre-recorded automated shows as you want. You can have it automated 24/7 if you like. Now, for live broadcasting, it's still very, very simple to set up. All I do is click on the event, and where it says event type, I will select live DJ instead. Now, when you click on this, you need to tell the software which DJ, which user this is going to be, because it's going to be expecting that particular person to be logged in, and only that person will gain the ability to go live. So this will be a list of everyone that's associated with your account. And I'll show you how to invite others at the end. But if I just select myself, this just means I'm going to go live. If anyone else tries to log in, if Jack tries to log in later, he can't go live because he's not me. I'm going to record the broadcast. I'm going to turn that on. And it just means, as soon as I come off there, I have that MP3 file of my show. And if I'm happy with that, I'm going to click on Update Event. And even though I've scheduled it for 6 months already, I can make as many changes to it as I like. I can even make changes to a show that's currently broadcasting. So if you've got a DJ on air and you're not happy with what they're doing, you can just replace them or get rid of them, mid-show. It's totally up to you. It's your station. You manage it how you like. So now you can see it gave it a couple of seconds and it's now updated. 2 till 4, live DJ, Phil. So as I said, it means if someone else tries to log in, they can't go live. Only I can log in and go live completely remotely at this time. Now, we also have a really, really helpful feature called the backup playlist. And what this is for is if you are doing a live broadcast, it relies on your local internet connection, like what I'm relying on to do this demonstration now. Of course, if my internet connection goes when I'm doing a live show, so does that live show. But the software will protect you. It will, keep your audience listening to something, and a backup playlist will fade in instead, and it will play until you have reconnected. So that just means your audience will never hear any dead air. There's never going to be any silence on your watch. And to select that backup playlist, when you do choose Live DJ, any playlist you select here will be your backup playlist. So it can be absolutely anything you like. And you'll be able to see which one it is here. And recording has been enabled. So as soon as it gets to 4 o'clock, when I finish, I'll have an MP3 file of the show. And that's how you do a live show. All you do is tell the software who's going live and at what time. And as long as they log in at that time, they absolutely will go live on air, just like that. Okay, so that's all that's involved in terms of programming, but I guess the most important thing is, Phil, how on earth are people going to listen to this radio station? Well, to do that, I'm going to go to the Listen tab here. Now, there are a couple of different ways right out of the box in terms of how people can listen to your station. First of all, we have this. This is a URL link that's automatically given to you when you create your account. Now, this can't be customized. It's automatically given to you, and you can share this on social media, and you can email it to people, or they can, you can post it on social media. Anyone who clicks on this will just be taken to a blank browser tab on their computer or their smartphone, and it simply streams your station incredibly easily, just like that. Now, it's not the most attractive way of people listening, because if they click on that, it just takes them to a blank page. It's a black page with a play button. Nothing to look at. Now, alternatively, if you have a website, you can build a web player, which will look something along the lines of this. Possibly not a good option to use because the track I'm playing doesn't have any artwork. Let's skip that to get something that's a bit more visually appealing. There we go. So if I go back to my Listen tab here, it'll change very, very soon. But what this does is here, this bit will allow you to create something a bit more visually stimulating for your audience. And you can embed this onto your Radio.co website. And what this will do is this will display information for the tracks you're playing, like an old show here, any artwork, like the branding for your station, the artwork for your station. And it comes in different shapes and sizes, as you can see here. Couple of different styles. And all you do is you click on the add player button. It takes maybe 30, 60 seconds, something like that. And once you do, that's it. You can embed this onto your website and invite people to go to your personal domain name to listen to your website, which is a bit more attractive than giving them that. That's still a very, very good option. I mean, you can use this URL in a number of internet radio directories, such as Streamer. They see huge, huge amounts of traffic going through them every single day of people listening to online radio. So it's worth your time creating profiles on these sites and just making your station more widely available as possible. Now, you can expand the reach of your station, not just through a web link, but also a series of add-ons. So as I mentioned before, you can actually create an iPhone app and an Android app for your station. And it's important to know about these apps as they are completely white labeled. So that means they don't feature any Radio.co branding on them. They don't allude to any other station. It's 100% yours. You decide the name of the app, any artwork and logos attached to it. It's entirely yours. And to actually build the apps, because I, for one, am not a mobile app developer, and I'm sure a lot of you won't be either, that's why we have a step-by-step guide on how to design it. As you can see here, all you do is decide the name of your app, the icon you want it on the home screens, color schemes, logos, links to social media, websites, anything that goes into building the app and making it yours. You submit it to us. Our support team will build it and will then get it released and authorized for you. So it really, really doesn't take long, and it can take a couple of weeks for us to build your apps. So the sooner you submit them to us, the better. As well as other add-ons, you can actually build an Alexa skill for your station. Again, this is white labeled. It's an official skill command for the Alexa devices that's purely for your station. People ask for your station, she introduces it and plays it. And if you want to build a website with us through a pretty easy way, you can build one through our website builder. And as you can see, these all come at an extra monthly charge. However, in some of our higher plans, our Gold and Pro plans, you may find some or all of these included at no extra cost. Now, admin. If you want to monitor your station's performance, you'll come to statistics, and we keep all stats and figures for your station for a maximum of 60 days at a time. So I'm looking at the last 30, and I can see how many people have been listening. I can see averagely how long people have been listening for, but also more interesting information such as, where is my audience based? Or what devices, or even what web browsers are they using to listen? All that information is present and available 24/7. We'll also give you real-time stats. If I go in real time, I'll be able to see a current listener who's based in Bournemouth in the UK, how they're listening, when they started listening, and how long they've been listening for. You can also call for help if you want. This person's been listening for 54 hours straight. They're either loving my station or something is hugely wrong with them. But it's just to give you an idea on what this information will look like, and you can kick and ban users as well if you do want to. Okay, more admin. I'm going to go to reports. Now, this section is primarily used for licensing purposes, and licensing may be a question that you have on the tips of your tongue, and some of you maybe even have asked it to me already. Where licensing is concerned, rather, if you plan to play any copyrighted material, rather, if you plan to play any music at all, it's strongly advised to get a license for your station. Having a license just gives you the legal green light to play pretty much whatever you like. Now, we don't include licensing in our service currently, so you do have to obtain it independently. It can vary depending on where you are based, whether it's the US, the UK, or throughout Europe. We actually have a lot of great information about licensing on our website. You can go through our blog and our help center for some information. Or if you have any specific questions about licensing, feel free to send me an email just through studio@radio.co. studio@radio.co. I'm more than happy to answer your questions there. But generally speaking, you will pay an annual fee to a licensing organization. They will pay royalties on your behalf. But in order for them to do that, you need to give them a report of everything that you've played. Now, the recently played just lists everything that's played within the last recent 24 hours. But what they will need is a summary. So if I go to reports, track summary, and this is going to load up all the information again from the last 30 days. This will show me everything that's played, how many times each track has played, and even how many people have listened to it. So with this information, you can then download the report, email it off to that specific organization, and they'll know what to do with that particular information here. You can see here everything that's played and all the information regarding it. Again, with this information, we only keep it for a maximum of 60 days. So even if you are requested to send your information to licensing organizations maybe once every 4 or 6 months, something like that, try and make a habit of downloading it maybe every month, every 2 months, because once that date is passed, we don't have access to it anymore. So it's primarily for licensing, but this is still very good to use for advertising. So if you are advertising on your station, you are absolutely free to do that. We don't have any involvement in advertising. So if you create an advert for a business and you want to play that, that's absolutely fine. You keep 100% of any revenue you make on this station, and you can just upload your adverts and build them into shows, how I've shown you to do earlier. But this is particularly good if a advertiser wants to know how well their advert's done. Maybe this is an advert here. I know how many times it's played, how many people were affected by it over this last 30-day period. You can take that information and decide whether it's good or bad. It's more than just for licensing, but that's primarily what it is used for. Settings. Generally, this is for you to have a little play around with, but as an overview, this is where you can choose the name and the look for your station. You can rebrand it as often as you like. Believe it or not, a popular question I get asked each day is, do I need to decide on the name of my radio station now? Absolutely not. You can put Radio.co test or, test station, Phil FM, something like that. When you've chosen it, the name that you want to use, you can just update it here, rebrand as often as you want. The broadcast tab is probably where you'll go very early on. This just adjusts some of the ways your station sounds, such as a crossfade. So everything that you have set in automation, like those playlists I created before, they will all abide by a crossfade. So how long do tracks fade in and fade out of each other? I believe the default we've set it is 3 seconds, but you can adjust it accordingly, up to a maximum of 10 seconds, or get rid of it entirely. So this will just make sure your tracks aren't just harshly stopping and starting. They're nicely flowing into each other. Live anytime, that's a feature for the owner. That means as the owner, you don't need to schedule yourself for a live show. You can go live literally anytime you like, right now if you wanted to. And then streaming quality is adjusted here, like so. I've actually got a question about streaming quality, so I'll go into a bit more detail about it very, very shortly. Security. So here, the main features really is geoprotection. What this is this allows you to protect where your station can be heard. So I guess particularly for licensing purposes, if you just wanted your station to be broadcasting throughout the UK or the US and you didn't want people listening outside of that, you can block people from accessing your station from particular countries you don't want them to be listening from. So in this example, I want to block listeners from the US. So everyone on Earth can listen to my station apart from anyone with a US IP address. Likewise, if I wanted it to be exclusively US, I can choose a list of only stations that I want to allow. So it's just a way of refining your station, keeping it local. Ripper protection protects your station from a number of rippers and torrents, basically software and bots that are designed to steal open streams and stream them and take care of your bandwidth and potentially get you in trouble. The advanced tab, you can put album and artist separation rules to make sure tracks by the same artist aren't played too often together. Integrations, as I said, we have our sister company Radio.co. Twitter can automatically tweet out tracks you're playing. Zapier, as I mentioned, that can be linked to your Google Drive and Dropbox to add an alternative way of uploading. And then Mixcloud, similar to how Podcast.co works. Any shows that you want to upload to Mixcloud or Podcast.co can be done if you connect your account to them. And then we have billing. So you can actually upgrade and downgrade your plan as often as you like. So again, a lot of people always ask me, what's the right plan for me? Of course, we have our recommendations. I like to point people in a particular way of something that I feel is most comfortable for their particular plans and needs. But in all honesty, you can go for any plan you like. You can start off on our smallest ones and upgrade as your station grows or your confidence grows. Likewise, you can start off big and scale back if needs be. It's a lot of freedom there for your station to make sure you're broadcasting comfortably and happily, of course. And then the final thing to cover before questions is users. This is where you manage everyone that's associated with your account. So whoever creates the account, in this case is Alan, he is the owner. So he created it and he's the only one on the account who can see billing information. No one else can see that. So there is that element of protection there. Who else do we have? We have James as a station manager, and we have this one as a station manager as well. They can do everything that the owner can do apart from see the billing information. So they can change settings, create programs. Music controller here. What that allows them to do is upload content, build shows, schedule shows. They can do voice tracking and they can go live. What they can't do is they can't change any settings. And then we have DJ and guest DJ. They're the roles you'll probably use the most. They just give someone the ability to log in remotely, log in, broadcast live, log out. That's all they can do. So it's a really, really restricted level of access to your account and, offers a big element of protection. If you're inviting a complete stranger like me, give me DJ access and I can't interfere with anything. And the difference between guest DJ and DJ, a DJ can see how many people are listening. 2, for example, in this case. Guest DJ will not see that information. So if you want to keep your audience numbers a secret, give someone guest DJ access. And to give someone that access, you would click on invite a user. Enter that person's name. If it was me, we'll say DJ Phil. My email address, what role, we'll say guest DJ. Click on invite. I will then get an email invitation, say I've been invited to join a station. I follow those instructions, and again, a couple of minutes later, I'll be logged in. I create my own login in details, so you will never need to share yours. And it just means I can log in completely remotely from anywhere in the world and broadcast live when I've been scheduled. And with a DJ and a guest DJ, they can only go live when they've been scheduled. So they could log in anytime they like, but the software will only give them that all-important access when the software is expecting them to. So there is an element of protection there from someone who could be completely unreliable and untrustworthy like me. Of course, I'm not saying that I am, but that's just an example there. And there we go, everyone. That is a crash course, really, on primarily the basics of getting started. The 3 basics really are uploading content, building your playlists, and scheduling for broadcasting. But I've also gone into some depth about some of the features to really open you up to the capabilities of this platform. And hopefully you can see just how user-friendly this particular software is. If you're anyone like me, I didn't used to be a radio broadcaster, a radio programmer. And, if you've just got that passion, that's the least you need. The most important thing I would say you would need for broadcasting is that passion to broadcast. As long as you can create your content and sound good and sound happy doing it, people are going to enjoy listening to your radio. And, the software is very intuitive. It'll take care pretty much of itself. Tell it what you want it to do, and it'll do it. So you can focus on that content rather than focusing on running your station and keeping it on air. So we're going to open the floor, the cyber floor, I guess, for some questions. A couple of them have been asked of me already, so I'm just going to jump to that screen. There goes me again. Looking a little less glossy because it's cooled down a little bit here in the UK. Okay, let me just get my questions here. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see them then. So these are questions that have been sent in to me prior to this call, so this demonstration. So I thought I'd go through a couple of these already. These may be related to a question that you have yourself. So first of all, what we've got, what are the main equipment needed to set up your own simple, cost-effective online radio station? And that's from Louisa. I guess the most important thing there is cost-effective. Now, the very least you actually need for broadcasting is a Windows or Mac computer, an internet connection, and a USB microphone. If you do want to do some talking. If you don't plan to talk, then internet connection and an average Windows or Mac computer. We always say average because it doesn't use a lot of computer power. It's powered by the internet most of the time. So as long as you've got a decent internet connection, you'll be broadcasting absolutely fine. You can of course use things like mixing desks, audio interfaces, for a bit more control, or the use of XLR microphones. But I'd say it's not necessary to have those things right from the off anyway. Just internet connection and a USB microphone is really all you need. With mixing desks and audio interfaces, they pretty much all do the same thing. They just vary in terms of size and weight and portability, most importantly. You may get a really chunky mixing desk for $50, and one that's $100 more will pretty much do the same thing. It's just maybe a little slimmer, but easier to use maybe. In terms of microphones, a popular question I get asked is, what's a good budget for a microphone, or what's a good microphone? I always recommend, you want to make a good investment in a microphone. You may have the best content in the world, but if you sound awful, people are not likely to stick around. So I would say try and budget to spend at least or around $100 for a good starter microphone. You can get really, really great USB microphones for $100, maybe even a little bit cheaper, but I'd say budget for about $100 for a good microphone. Anything by Rode is highly recommended by us. We've reviewed pretty much all their equipment. So that's Rode, that's RODE. Fantastic Australian company. They make things like the Rode Pod mic, that's about $100. The Rode NT USB, again about $100. They have a Rode Podcaster and a Rode Procaster, more about the $150 mark. But yeah, they do fantastic microphones. So yeah, anything through Rode, Blue Yeti is a very, very popular podcasting microphone, and anything by Shure is a really good winner. So yeah, I would say, the equipment you've got at home and maybe $100 for a microphone, and that's pretty much all you will need to get started. So I hope that's answered your question, Louisa, anyway. Next question is from Peter. I'm concerned about the audio quality of online radio. Should I be? So that's what I mentioned before. I had a question about audio quality. And yeah, Peter, really, honestly, you shouldn't be worried about audio quality of online radio, because internet radio is actually capable of broadcasting to a far higher sound quality than FM, AM, and DAB radio. FM broadcasts at, on average, about 64 kilobits per second. When you think of how your station could broadcast up to 192 kbps, that's more, like 3 times the sound quality of an FM station. It's very crystal clear. Its HD sound is classed as 192 kbps, or CD quality of sound, really crystal clear. So internet radio will let you broadcast to a really, really nice sound quality, far better than what you may have used in the past. And in fact, so all of our plans actually let you broadcast to that HD quality sound, which is better than some other providers you may find. We'll also let you broadcast up to 320 available in our Pro plan. If you really want Pro studio sound, that's about the best sort of sound quality you will get from our streaming, and that's available in the Pro plan. So Peter, don't worry about sound quality of internet radio, because it's probably the best you'll find. Derek, can I use my Pandora or Spotify playlists on air? Yes, you absolutely can, but you can only play music or content from other sources, outside of Radio.co during a live broadcast. So if you wanted to play music through Spotify, you can only do it when you're broadcasting live. You're unable to automate and schedule content that's not uploaded and saved within Radio.co. So if you want to broadcast any music live that's outside of Radio.co, you'll need to route that audio through to your live profile. That can be done physically by using something like a mixing desk that's plugged into your computer, and plugged into your mixing desk might be a phone or a tablet that's got Spotify on it. Plug that in, manage your playlists, stop and start, fade in, fade out. Bob's your uncle. Very, very easy. Alternatively, you can use software versions. There's a fantastic app. I think I mentioned this during every stream, but it's because we highly recommend it. It's exclusive to Mac. It's called Audio Hijack. It's about $40, I believe. So you do have to pay for this application. But that basically allows you to route lots of different inputs into a single output. So you could load Spotify on your computer and route that audio through to your live broadcasts. Or you can use some audio, some DJ software. I think I could be wrong, so don't quote me on it. I probably should have looked into it before. But I believe Serato DJ is it, which is a popular DJ interface people use online. I believe you can connect that directly to a Spotify account and broadcast music through that. I may be wrong, but there is definitely a DJ software that does allow you to connect through that. So fact of the matter is, it is possible to do. Just you will need to do it as part of a live broadcast. So yeah, hope that helps, Derek. Raven has asked, how do I market my online station effectively? Simple answer is, it's all about making your station as widely available as possible. If you have a greater online presence, then it increases the chances of people finding your station. And there are lots of different ways of expanding the reach of your station, making it more available in places. The easiest and obviously most cost effective, because it's free, is creating social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. They are hugely beneficial, and I'd say they are essential for any online broadcasting, whether it's radio, TV, or podcasting. You want to increase the online visibility, and the quickest way of doing it, or the best way of doing it rather, is by being active on social media. If you are unaware of using social media, then become aware. Learn how to effectively use Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're a bit like me and you don't like using social media, get over yourself and do start using it. I'm really not a fan of social media at all, but I can't really disagree about how essential it is, because what you're doing is you're creating like an online hub for people to find you, and having an active Facebook page is often more beneficial than having a website. It gives people a location to flock to and interact with you and other listeners. So be social media savvy is a huge piece of advice to give you. Again, if you're not familiar with how social media works, learn how it works, because it will save you it'll save you a lot of headaches, I can assure you. So having social media presence, first of all, will really do you solid favors. And then making your station available on things like internet radio directories. Again, they're free ways of just making your station available in alternative ways. And again, the more places people can find and listen to your station, the bigger the chances of people looking for it and sticking around. To go back to social media, a big tip, again, something based on what I get asked a lot when they come up with radio station names. You can call your radio station name anything you like. We don't put any restrictions on that. But first of all, I would check that your radio station name isn't taken already. If it's free, excellent. I would also then go through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and just see if you can find a really simple handle for your station. If I was going to call the station called Phil FM, is at Phil FM taken on Twitter or Instagram? If it's not, perfect. I want people to look for Phil FM by typing in Phil FM on Twitter. I don't want people to necessarily look for Phil FM UK 2021. It's too long. I just want it to be the simplest way possible. So always consider that when you are naming your station, because it works hand in hand with social media. Very long-winded answer for your question, but I hope that's helped, Raven. Joe, how do I live stream my low-power FM station online? So you can use Radio.co as a way of providing an online presence for your AM and FM station. Your Radio.co station will pretty much serve as a live 24-hour stream of your FM content. You wouldn't use any of our programming tools, our automation. It will just be a constant live broadcast where you're feeding your feed through our platform. It doesn't actually take much time and effort to set up, particularly if you use a piece of equipment called a Barracks InStreamer. Probably the most widely familiar piece of equipment used for connecting an FM and AM feed to an online platform like ours. And it was actually, I think it might have been, I forget. I feel time has becoming different. It's slowed down a lot over the last few months, but I think last month I did an FM, how to broadcast your FM station online. It feels so long ago, but I did do a webinar not long ago about broadcasting your FM and AM station online. So you'll be able to find that on our website or on our YouTube channel if that's where you're watching it from. And that's a good demonstration by me, again, talking about the different ways of and what you need to make that possible. And then the last question that I've been asked beforehand, before I go to yours that have been asked live, Darren has asked a very specific question, but interesting nonetheless. I want to create a health-based radio station full of tips, but I don't want it to be technical and nerdy. How do I make it appealing to the masses? I mean, I guess appealing is very subjective, but there's different ways of doing it. So relating to that previous question we had before, it's all about making your station as widely available. So doesn't matter what your content is, you need to make people aware that it exists. If people like what they hear, they're going to stick around. So make your station as widely available as possible. And if you are looking for a more unique hook, a way of people getting involved, if you want it to not be all technical and nerdy, and you want it to be a bit more fun and simple, or bantery. Well, don't really like that word, but yeah, the best way, make things your Facebook page and your Twitter page. Just make memes, funny pictures, misheard lyrics, opinions, things that require little to no effort to share. If something's funny, people are more likely to share something that's funny rather than something that's serious. So that's a really good tip. Get people to voice their opinions at you. What's your favorite album of the 90s? People are going to, people are chomping at the bit to really let you know what they think of their music tastes. Things like that. Funny pictures that are just, even loosely related to what you're talking about. So, if you want to be a bit more fun and appeal to the masses, it's all about sharing content on social media because it's incredibly easy for you to do and for them to do, when it comes to sharing. And as well off that, you should also, Darren, consider launching a podcast if you haven't got one already, particularly because it is a very specific niche audience, maybe niche idea that you have. Creating a podcast either separate or as part of your live Radio.co shows, turn them into a podcast, and they're then available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Amazon Podcasts, all things like that. And again, having your station available as a different medium just provides more opportunities for people to find it. So for anyone that's interested in doing podcasting and expanding the reach of their station through that way by appealing to a potentially completely different audience, go to speak to our colleagues at podcast.co via hello@podcast.co. But my advice there, Darren, is really be clever and strategic with how you market yourself online, and consider doing podcasting because, it will get to a completely different audience then, which may be more directed towards what you want to do. So I hope those questions that I've answered there have been helpful to you. Maybe these were questions that you had beforehand. But what I'm going to do now is go to the live chat and have a look what we've been asked. Actually, just right off the bat, I don't think it's one that's been moved to the private chat with Jack where he ciphers through them. But I can just see one here. So Tony Preview has asked, what is the best MP3 kbps for great sound? Obviously, very loose on what I talked before. In all honesty, most online stations, even the biggest stations in the world that have an online station as well, they tend to broadcast around about 128 kbps and 192 kbps. There's no major difference between those two. I guess to an audio file there may be, but one uses slightly less bandwidth, and there's not too much difference between near CD sound and full CD sound, if you get me. So, we allow you to broadcast to 192. I'd say broadcast to 192 if it's music. If it's talk content, if it's purely talk, there's no real need to broadcast at the highest quality because it is just your vocals. So I would say 128 is a perfectly fine kbps bit rate to stream to, but we give you the ability to broadcast at higher. Hope that's answered your question there, Tony. Okay, so other ones. So these may have been questions you've asked about an hour ago, and I'm just getting to them. So thank you very much for bearing with me. Jay has asked, can I upload a Spotify playlist to Radio.co? Obviously, related to the question I asked before, you can't upload anything from Spotify. You can only upload specific, actual MP3 or AAC files. If you want to use something like Spotify, you have to do it as part of a live broadcast and actually manage it live, as if you're doing a live show. Let's have a look. Alan's asked, do I need to be signed up to podcast.co as well to have a live talk show on my radio station? Absolutely not. No, you can do talk shows just through using your Radio.co account. On our smallest Radio.co plan even, you can do a live talk show. What that live talk show feature is, it's just a way of recording a remote show with guests. So not used for live, just recording an actual show, which you could then turn into a podcast. Or when you finished your live shows, you could repurpose them into a podcast. But just for a specific live show, no, you don't need a subscription to podcast.co. You can do it purely through Radio.co. We're the only platform you need for live, anything to do with live radio. And Eva says, can I rewatch this webinar once it is finished? Yes, you can. Actually, I spoke to you over the phone earlier today talking about Radio.co. So I hope this is giving you a good idea, and Eva, about sort of how it all works. So for anyone who's missed any of this webinar, it will be available on our YouTube channel on this exact link. Give Jack a minute or two just to save it when it's finished, and you can watch it from the start and as many times as you like. The Highway Station says, how does the pricing work with Alexa skills and iPhone apps? So they work as an additional add-on subscription to your Radio.co account. So if you subscribe to our Light, our Bronze, or our Silver plan, the mobile apps can be added on for an extra $15 a month each, and the Alexa skill, $10 a month each. And that can just be, you can subscribe to that for as long as you want. You can remove it anytime you like as well. If you subscribe to our Gold plan, the Android app and the Alexa skill is included at no extra cost. And if you subscribe to our Pro plan, you'll find the iPhone, Android app, and the Alexa skill included at no extra cost. If you go to our pricing page on our website and click on, there's a drop-down menu called Advanced Features. If you click on that, you'll be able to see exactly what each plan entails, including the ones that have the apps at no extra charge. Otherwise, $15 a month or £12 a month each for the apps, and $10 or £8 a month for your Alexa skill. Talk in the Night has asked, do I need a soundboard or can I find a digital one? I'm not widely familiar with soundboards per se. A lot of people ask me about these, and it's just something that's not really in my wheelhouse, unfortunately. I would probably say an easy way of doing it is having if you've got a soundboard or something like that connected to a mixing desk, of course, anything that's plugged as an input into your mixing desk already, as long as that's connected to your computer, you can fade in and fade out anything you like. Or a digital one, it can be pretty straightforward to use, particularly if you're using something like Audio Hijack, where you could route that audio from your digital soundboard and mix it into your live broadcast. So it is possible. It would just be a case of finding the right method of using it. So semi-helpful, not really helpful answer to your question then. So I do apologize there. Candice has asked, can I purchase for more than one station? Yes, you can. If you want multiple radio stations, each station does require a separate subscription. So if you wanted 3 radio stations, you would need 3 subscriptions. But what you can do is you can sign up for each one with the same email address. And in doing so, that will allow you to just log in once, and you'll be able to instantly switch between every station that you run. Each station is treated separately, though, so you can't share media across all of your stations. You would need to upload content to each one. And if you are subscribing to multiple stations, it can depend on how many and what plan you want, but you may be eligible for our multi-station discount, but you'll only find that out by getting in touch with us if you did want to sign up for multiple stations. So anything to do with any questions in general or multiple stations, just send me an email, studio@radio.co, and I'll be able to give you a quote for how much that could possibly cost. Tony has asked, do you have a 100 gigabyte plan? Pro is out of my budget for now. Good optimism, Tony. Do we have a 100 gigabyte plan? We do actually. Yeah, we do. It's not actually on our website. We call it the Gold Plus. So it's actually a bit in between Gold and Pro. That can be something we can upgrade your plan to if you were to subscribe to Gold in general. I forget the pricing of it because it's something that we don't do too often. I believe it's about, I could be wrong, it's about $150 a month or £130, something like that. I'd have to double check, Tony, but if that's something you are interested in, again, studio@radio.co, and I'll be able to get the confirm an answer to that. I've got about a minute left and about 2 more questions. Let's have a look. Isigo Radio has asked, can I live stream to TikTok too? Showing my age here, I mean, I'm only 31, but I have no idea how TikTok works, I'm afraid. It's just not my generational thing. So the simple answer to that is I have no idea. I imagine so. I mean, you wouldn't be able to necessarily stream your Radio.co actual streaming link through TikTok, I don't think, but you could definitely incorporate it into your TikToks or whatever they're called. Yeah, I can certainly try and find out, but I think I'm a bit too old to experiment and find out about how TikTok works. So it may be possible, but I don't imagine you'll be able to inject your stream directly into that platform, I'm afraid. And finally, a Fiona has asked, does a guest DJ need to join via BUT to go live? Yeah, not necessarily specifically BUT, but yeah, any DJ that wants to go live does need to connect to Radio.co in some kind of way. So, they can connect via BUT, they can connect through our Windows broadcaster, or if they're a DJ using maybe their DJ software, it is possible to use DJ interfaces to broadcast live from. Something like Virtual DJ can be connected directly to Radio.co, so there's no actual need to use like BUT or our encoder. You can just connect purely through Virtual DJ and broadcast through that way. So there are multiple ways of connecting live. It's all a case of finding which one you and your DJs find the easiest to do. And if you're unsure, again, always get in touch with us and we'll give you advice on maybe the best way to go forward. But yeah, regardless, anyone who wants to go live does need to connect to Radio.co one way or another. Once they're connected, they can go live and broadcast everything that they want to. Well, there we go, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me for this demonstration. I do hope it's been helpful and you've been able to see, have an idea on how Radio.co works. Have an idea on how to get started. That's the most important thing. First steps that you need to take. And also, I hope I've answered a good amount of questions that you have. If you have any questions that I haven't answered at all, because I do realize I do talk an awful lot. I've said it again. I'll say it many more times. Just send an email, studio@radio.co. All those emails come to me and I will go through as many as I need to. Any questions you have about Radio.co or just broadcasting live online in general, please get in touch and I'll help in absolutely any way that I can. And in the meantime, if you're watching this on YouTube, just follow and subscribe to our Radio.co YouTube channel and our founder, James Mulvaney's YouTube channel. There's so much content there about everything to do with radio. You can see here tips on how to make money for your station. If you want to take callers, there's a video for how to do that. Even a guide on studio tours to get an idea on what other people are using for their broadcasts. There's so much content that we add very, very regularly there to both Radio.co and James Mulvaney's personal channel. So subscribe to both of those, get a really good idea on anything to do with Radio.co, and also visit our website. We have a Radio.co University and a blog page full of all our help guides, information on equipment, script writing, the best ways tips on presenting, anything to do with broadcasting. You can find it on our website and our subsequent channels. But that's it for me anyway. I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. So thank you very much for joining me once again. And I'll be back around about the same time next month to do something a little bit different. So until then, happy broadcasting.
Starting a radio station has never been easier. Click here and I'll take you to a free guide which shows you exactly how you can start a radio station with minimal fuss, no technical headaches, plus also start getting those all-important listeners. How does that sound? Click here and I will take you to my free guide.